Balochistan. The vast region stretches from the Great Desert in Iran in the west to Sindh and Punjab in the east. Its northern borders begin in the Helmand region of Afghanistan, and the Indian Ocean makes its southern borders. Politically, it is divided into Pakistan, Iran, and Afghanistan. Balochistan of Pakistan is the largest of its four federating units. It makes the southwestern province, which stretches southeastern Iran to Sindh, Pakhtunkhwa, and Punjab provinces, Nemraz province of Afghanistan, and to the Indian Ocean, a region rich in natural resources such as gold, silver, copper, and a nearly untapped source of fish. But the people of Balochistan are living a life of extreme poverty. Contrary to Balochistan's vast size, its population is relatively scarce, accounting for only 3.6% of Pakistan's total population. The very proud people who inhabit it, the Baloch, migrated here in waves during ancient times. They came from the northwestern Caspian region and settled within the harsh Iranian plateau. Balochistan was the meeting place of various civilizations in the region and located in a strategic position. Its geography, throughout its history, caused it to be subjugated by emerging and dominating empires and regional powers. But by 1666, Baloch tribes came together to establish the Baloch Khanate of Kalat in Kalat, which became the first Baloch state in Balochistan's history. The Baloch destinies changed in 1839 when Balochistan was occupied by the British on 13 November. The Khan of the Baloch was killed in the battle, and the capital Kalat was captured. Balochistan remained under the British rule until 1947. During the British colonial rule, the division of Balochistan was brought about through various boundary commissions. In the wake of the British withdrawal from India in 1947, the Khanate of Kalat took notice and jumped at the opened opportunity. And on 11 August 1947, they declared independence from British control. However, independence was fleeting. After the rejection of the demand from the newly created religious state of Pakistan and indirect British pressure to join Pakistan, Pakistani forces entered Balochistan during the last week of March 1948. The Khan of Kalat was forced to sign an accession agreement with Pakistan on March 27, 1948. After only 227 days of independence, Balochistan regrettably was annexed by the newly created state of Pakistan. Subsequently, the Baloch land was made a province of Pakistan. As with most subjugated nations under foreign power, the Baloch have never accepted being under Pakistani control. National resistance and uprisings have caused extreme retaliation by Pakistan. As a result and consequence, the Baloch are facing the worst atrocities in the 21st century world. For example, reports of thousands have been killed. Thousands have been forcibly disappeared. Thousands have been displaced from their homes due to state-sponsored bombardments and burnings of their settlements. Even mass graves were unearthed in different districts of Balochistan, including in Tutak and Panjgur. Balochistan has been a victim of an unending saga of humiliation, destruction, and grief. China, Asia's leading economic giant, began taking interest in the coastal region of Balochistan in the late 1990s to further its military and strategic agendas. The Baloch leadership had sensed the Chinese imperialistic ambitions. For the Baloch, the construction of Gwadar, which is the agreed port for the Pakistan-China trade route through Balochistan, would bring through an influx of Chinese workers and workers from other provinces of Pakistan, converting the Baloch people into a minority within their own land. Therefore, the Baloch leadership began peaceful agitations to counter the Pak-Chinese anti-Baloch plans by organizing the Four-Party Alliance, headed by veteran Baloch leader Nawab Akbar Khan Bugti. However, the peaceful demands were not well received. Pakistan conducted military offenses in response to their demands. The military started offenses in Dera Bugti and other parts of Balochistan.
Everyone is after our national wealth, our Baloch national wealth. For example, take the natural gas. It has been flowing through these pipelines for the last 50 years or more to every nook and corner of Pakistan. but not Balochistan. So it is daylight robbery by force of arms. And what happened a few days ago was part of all this.
Tragically, these aggressions displaced thousands of people as a result.
Has the government approached you for negotiations?
जी नहीं.
No.
Government is negotiating from the mouth of the big tope, with the big gun, with the big thunder. I think it's heard all around the country, that kind of negotiations. They have been given instructions. Myself and Nawabzada Balach Mari, the two of us should be wiped out. All attention should be paid towards knocking us off.
Nawab Bukti was murdered in August 2006, and Nawabzada Malash Mari was killed in November 2007, resulting in widespread protests across Balochistan and Sindh. In 2009, to quell the Baloch dissent, the Pakistan military implemented a new strategy. Death squads, mushroomed with various nomenclatures, began target killing of socio-political activists, leaders, and human rights defenders. According to the BBC, between 2011 and 2016, more than 1,000 mutilated dead bodies were found. Within the last decade, a rise in killings and enforced disappearances have become widespread. Independent human rights organizations, including the Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, have documented that thousands of Baloch have been extrajudicially killed or forcibly disappeared, allegedly by the security forces of Pakistan. Unfortunately, the victims include people from all walks of life and of all ages and gender, victims as young as 6 months to 70 years old. In 2015, the construction of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, in the Chinese-led Belt Road Initiative, BRI, caused the uprooting of the Baloch from their traditional abodes. Tragically, many villages have been burned to the ground, displacing thousands for the CPEC projects. As a result of this construction in Gwadar, the fishermen whose main source of food and occupation are now barred from fishing from their traditional fishing pods. Unfortunately, the judiciary has failed to offer any remedy in this relation, and the perpetuation of human rights violations against the people of Balochistan continue unabated and with impunity. Why are the Baloch being treated this way? Because they are resisting the social, cultural, political, and economic exploitation of their land by the religious state of Pakistan. Many actions of the state are in clear violation of the UN Charter on Universal Human Rights. In recent decades, many perpetrators of such heinous crimes have been tried in the International Court of Justice. However, the silence by the international community is incomprehensible. It is high time for the civilized world to act. They should act fast before it's too late for the Baloch.